Chairman Directors, the first item on the workshop agenda is a review of the proposed fiscal year 2019 operating and capital budget. As you recall, last week at the board meeting 2 weeks ago, we reviewed the budget. There have been no changes to the budget as presented last meeting, and so staff will be recommending approval as part of an action item on the regular agenda. If you have any questions, the overall budget remained the same as compared to fiscal year 2018. The 2019, there was a slight reduction of approximately $65,000. So the 19 budget was approximately $65,000 less than the 18 budget, or the proposed budget, 19.
Any questions about the workshop budget?
Next item on your agenda is a review of the 2019-2023 strategic plan update for the Hidalgo County Regional Road Authority Loop System. Statute requires that the authority update the strategic plan every even year. So 2018 we're required to update the plan. Eric Davila is going to give you a quick review of the updates to the plan and the changes from the last update.
Good evening. So on slide number 2, which we also have up on the TV screen here, essentially is an update of the key short-term strategic projects for the RMA. The focus would be on the Southern Loop, which encompasses the 365 total segment 1 and 2 projects. The total development costs here, tech stock grants, and the remaining signal money has all been reflected to include what we currently know about the project. Segment 3, the big change from the last plan revision to this one is that it's complete and open to traffic. And the IBTC, we went ahead and updated the construction cost with the intended phase 1 construction of the furnace wood facility, inclusive of the NEPA clearance 2020, early 2020 clearance date. So when you flip to the details for 365, going to the next slide. A lot of these milestones are the same from the PM, the project management presentation we gave every month, so I'll go straight to the differences from last plan update to this one. Is again, where we've opened segment 3 to traffic, we're anticipating a second disbursement of the SID loan, which is going to be critical for being able to clear utilities and buy remaining right-of-way, so that when we do the rebid and the rescoping of the project, we have less risk being assigned by the contractors into their bottom line for their bids on the rescope of this project. And then as far as milestones are concerned, we covered what we've done with the project to date under milestones. The third one down kind of brings us to the more recent timeline about not being able to arrive at a financeable amount, with the last bullet just encapsulating that the project will need to be rescoped in some fashion and rebid. And since this is more of a big picture strategic plan update, we do have separate milestone handouts that we've been handing out for legislative support. We have a lot of state reps and state senators reaching out, their staff reaching out for information. So we've taken everything that's in this plan and aligned it with one-page summaries that can give them the talking points necessary to essentially help us with the good fight out there for money. And then on the IBTC, that remains the same. Our NEPA clearance is still on track for 2020. So the biggest changes since 2016 for us essentially encapsulate that the project has been selected to go non-toll. And the milestones are as follows: that we have our environmental classification. We've been able to allocate the RF matching funds to this project to the tune of $12 million, which is good for our right-of-way, eventual right-of-way purchase. We're still on track for the NEPA clearance for actual March 2020. We're actually going to have the public meeting take place March of 2019. And we're actually in the middle of prepping for a town hall meeting with affected property owners, which are on the west side of the project, which we haven't met with yet. And we're having a town hall with them in January of 2019. Again, that's more getting into some of the nitty-gritty of the plan, but we're from a broad strokes perspective, the plan covers where we're at and how we're tracking with the project. So all that's been up to date. And then we're anticipated going to construction in 2021 if we can get all that right-of-way cinched up like we anticipate. Last but not least, FM 1925 is still a long-range, big type of project that essentially aligns the TxDOT, local Pharr district office with HCRMA and HCRMA. Again, this slide is from the monthly updates that we give, but in anticipation of this December update, we talked to TxDOT about where they were with the study, and their biggest update to us was that because of the magnitude of the project, the amount of relocations, because the environmental process can drive you to a different route, even though it's anticipated that it connects along 1925 as shown on this map, the route could actually take a more northerly or southerly route as the process may dictate, depending on the options they take to the public and the feedback they get back from them. And so they're doing feasibility studies on that right now, and they're going to hold a series of public meetings, smaller meetings, to get that feedback and roll it into the environmental process to try to speed things up. So the FM 1925 may look like a slightly different animal when it's all said and done, but the connection between I-69C and I-69E is going to happen in some fashion. So that's the update in a nutshell. Any questions?
Thank you.
I got the medal with me.
Chairman Decker, that's all we have for workshop.
Let's go to the regular meeting.
Under item 1, reports, we have no reports for you at this meeting. The next report will be at the January meeting. Item 2 is the consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the governing body and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. However, if discussion is desired, that item or items will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
There's no motion for consent agenda. Can I get a motion for approval?
So,
Second, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Same motion carries.
Regular agenda item 3A, resolution 2018-61, approval of a reimbursement resolution expressing intent to finance expenditures to be incurred. This item is to allow the authority to reimburse itself for any expenditures that were incurred that we paid out of funds that were not included as part of the vehicle registration fee bonds, the Series 2013, or the SID loan. So to date, we've expended approximately $2.8 million out of our excess cash towards the project. And so this resolution will allow us to reimburse ourselves those money back out of the total revenue bonds when they're issued. So staff is recommending approval.
I have a motion for resolution 2018-16 for reimbursement approval. Can I get a motion?
Second.
Motion second, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same motion carries.
Item 3B, resolution 2018-68, approval of change order number 11 and final amended closeout for the foremost paving for the US 281 Military Highway Overpass Border Safety Inspection Facility Connector Project. This is the final reconciliation. The last item was an adjustment for 18-inch irrigation pipe. And so the final change orders is proposed in the amount of $12,733.44 for a revised project total of $19,205,314.28. Staff recommends approval.
Can I get a motion? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same motion carries. Item C.
Item 3C, Resolution 2018-71, adoption of the Hidalgo County Regional Mobility Authority fiscal year 2019 operating and capital budget. Staff recommends approval as presented.
Motion and a second. Motion and a second, all in favor, say aye. Opposed, same motion carries.
Item 3D, Resolution 2018-72, adoption of the 2019-2023 strategic plan update for the Hidalgo County Regional Mobility Authority new system. Again, staff recommends approval.
Can I get a motion for resolution B? Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor, say aye. Opposed, same motion carries.
Chairman Directors, for item 3E, Resolution 2018-74, approval to terminate construction contract with Johnson Brothers Corporation for construction of the 365 tollway from US 281 Military Highway to FM 396. Staff recommends you entertain a motion to enter into executive session on this item.
Can I get a motion to?
So moved.
Motion, in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Is there a motion to go back to open session? If I can get a motion. Motion is second. Second, all in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign, motion carries.
Chairman, the next item on your agenda is item 3E, Resolution 2018-74, approval to terminate construction contract with Johnson Brothers Corporation for construction of the 365 four-way from the US 281 military highway from FM 396 to FM 396, also known as the Johnson Brothers. Staff recommends that the board terminate the contract with Johnson Brothers.
So I'd like to make an amendment to item 3E, please. The board hereby authorizes the executive director to review and if appropriate accept the deliverables provided by Johnson Brothers pursuant to change order number 3, and if such deliverables are accepted, to pay Johnson Brothers for hours demonstrated under the payment terms described in change order number 2, provided payment shall not exceed 240 hours, and costs incurred by the authority in reviewing such deliverables are accounted for. So, can I get a motion?
Hold on.
Motion?
Is that correct? Is that 240?
Up to,
Up
not
to-
to exceed.
not to- okay, not to exceed.
Motion. Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Item 3F, Resolution 2018-75, approval to rescope and rebid the construction of the 365-way project from US 281 military highway to FM 396 on Southwest Highway. With the termination of the contract with Johnson Brothers, this item is to authorize the staff to go back and rescope it, look at the limits, to come back with a project that we can deliver at budget, which is approximately $170 million. That will probably encompass us reducing the limits of the project from Military Highway to Cage Boulevard to on Southwest Highway, a reduction of approximately 3 miles. However, we'd like to, in the rescoping, add that back in as an add alternate. And there's 2 parts to that add alternate. Add alternate number 1 will be to, as an alternate, if the price comes in, to build the full section from Cage to Military Highway. And add alternate number 2 may be a 1+1, 1 lane in each direction from Cage Boulevard to Military Highway to provide for at least connectivity temporarily until we're able to fund the full section. We have run a sketch level TNR and we're still finalizing it, but it looks like the project will work financially from Cage to Once Highway. So staff recommends approval of the authorization to rescope and rebid.
Can I get a motion for resolution 2018-75 to rescope and rebid the project?
So moved.
Any motion, can I get a second? Second. Motion is second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries.
Chairman, we have no further business for the board to consider.
Any other business, can I get a motion to adjourn? Second. Motion second, all in favor, say aye.
Well, I'm sorry,
Back into session.
no, I'm sorry. Yes, sir, hurry up. I'm sorry, I thought I missed an item.
Thank you, Councilman. Okay, motion to adjourn.